Good afternoon, everyone. I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host. Welcome to Artists of Color, where I and my group feature artists of color, black and brown artists, and we talk about their works, who they are, what they do, and how they got to be the artists they are. And when I say artists, I mean artists of all mediums. So today, I have two amazing, dear friends and wonderful artists. Two ladies. You know this is Women's History Month, so I have two great, amazing lady artists, my dear sisters and dear friends. Johnetts Tinker, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having us.
And Susan Thompson. Thank you for being with me today. I know we've been having this great conversation before they did this, but that's okay. I am so glad you ladies came to visit me today. I like saying visit because all my shows are always conversations. We don't have these, this is a question here, this is a question there. We have conversations. And I like that because it's so much more personable to me. So I thank you ladies for joining me today. I want to say, I really want to get into your trip to South Africa, but I don't want to do that yet. So what I want to do is, I want both of you ladies to tell me how you became the artist that you are today. So let's start with you, Johnetts. Tell me, when did you decide to become an artist?
I think it was decided for me because as a young person, I always did art. I did art with my mother. But I remember in the third grade, we went to the circus and, I went back to the third grade and teachers told us to do something from our experience. And I remember I did this elephant on this stool with this, horn up in the air.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, wow, 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 this is so beautiful. I wish I still had that piece, but I don't. And then she put it up on the board and I just thought, this is pretty cool, being recognized like this. That was my first art exhibition.
There you go.
But I just think it was like, how you're just drawn to something. It's in your spirit, it's in your soul, and it's something that I always wanted to do. And so that's why I say it was chosen for me because it seems like I always had that talent. To do that. I felt as though this is something that I was born to do, and I stuck with it, even though you have the naysayers in there and people telling you different things.
Something else.
You should do something else or telling you what to do. Yes. I always was supported by my family and my friends, and that's what really kept me on the path that I'm on today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've seen some of your work. You a couple of times you had Roxbury Open Studios, and you had your studio open in your house. I remember that. And you did this little talk, and I never forgot it. You talked about what you use for your art. Like you talked about going out and picking up leaves and twigs and putting, oh yeah, I didn't forget.
Right.
But nature was part of your art.
Well, that was definitely, once I graduated from high school, I went to Texas Southern University and studied with John Biggers.
Oh,
and so that was the highlight of my, art experience. One of the highlights. There was plenty of them, of course. But what he did was he put us in nature. He said, in order to understand nature, if you don't put yourself in nature, then, you don't know nature until you put yourself in nature. When I was in high school, I was an art major, and we never went outside because it was cold. So I was a studio artist, and I was well trained in being a studio artist. I mean, I knew perspective, I knew how to lighten, dark shades, still life, perfect. Somebody modeling, so the human figure, all of that. By the time I went to Texas Southern University, I was well trained as a studio artist.
Oh.
The other students, they didn't have the background that I had, but when John Biggers told them, let's go outside and do something from your head, I was so stuck because I needed something to look at. I needed to look at, in a flower arrangement, or I needed to see somebody posing for me. So everybody was doing, and I was sitting there going, oh my goodness, you know, I'm kind of, you know.
I'm lost here.
So he took me outside. It was 90 degrees, you know, outside, and put me in a ditch.
Oh,
The ditch didn't have water in it, but it was a ditch. He said,
What?
yeah, and he said, now you're in nature. And I had to draw, and then he made everybody come outside, and they were all looking at me. I said, look, you know.
I'm sorry. What is the I've got this question. What is the difference between art form as far as getting all, or what? Paul Goodnight said this to me one time in a conversation he and I were having. The fundamentals. Mm-hmm. What are the fundamentals? What is the difference between the fundamentals of art, of being an artist, and being an artist in nature?
I think it's good to have the combination of both. Okay. So it's good for me to have the fundamentals, to know perspective, to know how to do shading, light and dark, and things like that. But when you go into nature, people always tell me, oh, I can't draw a straight line. I say, you cannot find a straight line in nature.
True.
There's no straight line in nature. So when you're looking at perspective and things like that, you're drawing straight lines. But when you go into nature, you're going to see all kind of lines. You're going to see circles, curves, triangles, all kind of different and different perspectives. And things that you never even imagined that you would see. So that's the difference. But you need to use both of them in order to understand exactly what you're, working on. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's something I, like I said, I remembered that piece from having that conversation with Paul. I'm going to talk to Susan now. Susan?
Yes.
When did you decide to become an artist?
Well, unlike Johnetta, I came to being an artist later on in life. As a child, I was overshadowed by my brother, who was really, really good in art. And, we did arts and crafts and drawings from comic books, things like that. But it wasn't any aspirations to being an artist.
Okay.
So it wasn't until I was, I guess at Hunter College, I took art courses, pottery, weaving, and courses like that I really, really enjoyed. I thought I might be a potter because I like ceramics an awful lot. I like the mud and the yeah, that's me.
I like that too.
Yeah. But later on, I met Dr. Alan Rowan Cright.
Oh, yes.
And under his guidance, I gradually became an artist. And I chose textile as my medium because this is what I saw in my home growing up. Oh. My grandmother and her church friends would meet, let's say, once a week in our living room, and they would all have their sewing projects, their quilting or whatever.
Really?
And so I grew up with that kind of tradition. So I guess that kind of stuck in my head. She wanted me to actually learn quilting when I was young, but to me it was something old people did. Now look at me.
You've been doing it for a while.
I have, but as a child, it wasn't something I was interested in, even though she encouraged me and wanted me to learn. It was, I would rather play basketball or run around.
Oh my goodness. Now, I have seen a lot of your work, and they are absolutely so beautiful. Where do you get your inspirations for your artwork, your quilting specifically? Because I love your work.
A lot of my inspiration comes from what I see other artists doing. Like, I've learned a lot from Johnetta. Johnetta at one time said, Susan, I think you would like batik. And I didn't know what batik was.
Oh,
And she showed me, yeah. So it was like, once you learn something, it's like you can run with it. And the same with other artists. I belong to a collective of artists called AMARP,
Yes, you
African
do.
American Master Artist in Residence Program at Northeastern University. And there I'm in the company of a lot of master artists. So I see what they do and I look at what they do very carefully and I say, that's a good idea. I can use that one. And I'm always scrounging for ideas to use wherever I go, South Africa included.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scrounging
talk
for
about that.
ideas that I can use. And I found so much.
But your work, you have, I see, when I see your work, I see a lot in it. I see a lot of culture. I see different cultures. And it's like, where does she get all of this inspiration and taking it and putting it in her quilting? It's so beautiful. Now, I know I asked you about your inspiration, but have you taken your artwork, your quilting, from different areas of the world or the country that you've been? Maybe I'm not.
Not necessarily the quilting, but I am interested in the textiles, world textiles.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I get my ideas from African cloth, African pottery, Chinese pottery, or the cloth making tradition in China. It's like, wherever I go, there's something for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wherever you go, it's going to take us to South Africa.
Yay.
And we are going to talk about the trip that you ladies took to South Africa. Tell me, what made you want to go to South Africa? Or have you been there before?
Okay. This was my third time going to South Africa. First time was 2004, and it was the International Border on Books Conference. And through the Gardner Museum, I went to South Africa with Ina Mofoli, who was the artist in residence at the Gardner Museum. And she talked about the International Border on Books, and she said it's the first time it's going to be in Cape Town, South Africa, and somebody needs to go. Of course, we became friends, so she pushed for me to go. Yes. And so I went by myself. You know, but she met me there, of course, but it was the first time I went to Cape Town for the conference, which was fabulous. And then I went to Durban and stayed another week and visited with her. Okay, and the second time I went on my own again, and it was the Essence Festival was going to be, the first time it was going to be in Durban, South Africa. And she, the Essence Festival is coming to Durban, South Africa. And I said, okay, I got to be there because I used to always go to the Essence Festival for years and years, and I want to see it on the motherland.
On the motherland.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That must have been beautiful.
That was so much fun. It was wonderful. And then this was the third time, and I was supposed to go in 2020. But COVID came in, and that stopped.
It disrupted everything.
And stopped everything. So we were invited to go to the International Storytelling Festival, and so we decided to go.
We have pictures of that. There we are. Tell us about the storytelling tree.
Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. And my friend, Mofoli introduced Susan and myself as storytellers.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. And one time she called us up on stage. She said, oh, they're going to tell stories. And Susan looked at me and I looked at her and I said, our stories are our art. I had to get out of that. I said, no, I don't know any stories. But these are wonderful people. They were just so much fun to work with. Not only were they storytellers, they were dancers. And yes, and we were, the visual artists. So it was like a mixture of different, genres. And, it was so funny because Susan and I, they could say our names, but
you guys couldn't say
we
theirs.
couldn't say theirs. It was so embarrassing, but you know, you try to listen and get that,
And get
you
that
know,
little-
you know, and so we just said, "Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart," or
It's like it'll work.
"Oh, thank you so much." But you know, this is the group of storytellers. They came from different parts of South Africa. Or were they from? Yeah,
From Africa,
From
and
Africa.
from Canada. One was from Canada.
And another
Oh,
one was
really?
from London, England. Yes, but they were all, their DNA was Africa.
Was South African.
And then it was interesting for us to be there because even though, you know, our ancestors
Oh,
were
look at
brought-
Susan.
Yeah. That was at Mandela
you-
Park, yeah. But our ancestors went were brought to the United States through the Middle Passage. So
Right.
they had to know that even though our DNA is African, you know, but still,
yes.
they had, so it was kind of like a mixture. It was so interesting because when we first got there, we were in a circle and we were introducing each other. And I'm glad they went that way where Susan went first. Because they asked the question, what was your family name and what river did your
Oh, my
family
goodness.
drink from? And I said, woo, I'm glad I don't have to answer
Answer
that
that
question. I'm
one.
going to see what Susan says and I'm going to say the same thing.
You too. Look at you two. I
Oh,
love
that
it.
was the beginning evening, so we were all dressed up. And
Oh,
it was
It
such
was the
beautiful.
kickoff
I was
of
gonna
the
ask.
festival.
Oh, it was
so
so
it was a gala
Yeah.
to kick
Oh,
off
so was it
a
in
week-long
Africa?
festival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Week long.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
The
yeah,
ladies
so
look gorgeous.
so they asked us what was it? How did we get our family name and what river did we drink from? And Susan said, "Well, we drink from a reservoir."
Susan
And
said,
I
"Hey,
just-
we drink from a river. We don't do a river.
We don't drink from a river. And I said, we only have the Charles River, and you don't want to drink
Drink
from
out of
that.
that. No, you do
You know,
not.
but it was interesting to hear their family name and where they got their names from and generations
bet
and things
that
like
was.
that. And I told them I could only go back to two generations. My name was a made-up name, and you know, we drink from a reservoir. And it
There
was-
you go.
Yeah, that's the
And
best
that's
thing
the
we
best you could do
do.
because
Yeah.
that's what you know.
I mean, my nephew did that ancestry,
I
you
have
know.
to- I wanna do
and
that.
we're from West Africa, definitely, but also Norway and Sweden. I was
Uh-oh.
like, say what?
Like, really?
Yes, I'm like, okay, yeah.
We can stop that one
But
right
I
there.
did tell them that too, and they understood the Middle Passage and
Passage.
what was going on there. Yeah.
So what was your takeaway? What was your besides pictures? What was your bring home when you came back? What were your thoughts?
Oh,
What-
so
yeah.
many, because this, like I said, every time I went, there was a new thought, you know. But I think with me, it was meeting the storytellers and learning
Yes.
all about them and, you know, collaborating with them. It was also having the exhibition at the Rebirth Art Gallery and meeting the artists
That's
and, you know,
beautiful.
and just the beadwork that they did. You know, Susan and I have our beads on, but the work that they did was so elaborate, and to watch them work and, you know, communicate with them and actually look at their work and them looking at ours and really seeing, you know, that
connection.
even though we're, you know,
Thousands of miles apart,
we are so
to
together.
connected.
Yeah, to get connected.
I want to ask you, the jewelry that you're wearing, your earrings and your necklaces, are they from South Africa?
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
Well, see, I didn't know.
Definitely.
Oh my God, we need a close up of these beautiful, beautiful pieces. Oh my gosh.
And she was a shopaholic. I wasn't.
Oh,
Well, see, the first time I
wow.
went, I did a whole lot of
You did a-
shopping.
oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But in the second time I did, but this time I said I'm not going to do all that
She said, I'm
shopping.
not doing that this time.
But Susan did. This was
Oh.
her first time, so she was allowed.
She
yes.
was she was the shopaholic.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're
Thank you.
absolutely beautiful. Did you bring home? I'm gonna ask this to Susan. Did you bring home any fabric?
Not too much. One person asked me for fabric, and I got fabric for her, but we had to lug an exhibit to Africa.
Oh, that's right. You
And
did.
so we had two huge
Oh, God.
suitcases that we had to take everywhere.
Oh,
so
see.
there wasn't a lot of
It wasn't a lot of room.
it wasn't a lot of room to put, fabric
Fabric in.
or other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only little earrings, little.
Jewelry, things like that.
Yeah.
And again, I had to buy a big suitcase and put small works of art in it. I think I had about 11 to 12 pieces that I put in. You had your, pieces rolled up and put in suitcases and to get them over there. And what was a wonderful thing was that we were supposed to have an exhibition at the Durban, because we were in Durban, South Africa, and we were supposed to have it at the Durban Art Gallery, but something kind of, I don't know what happened, but something went wrong with the connection and whatever it is. So our friend Ina Mofley just said, well, we're going to find a place for you to have this exhibition because you're
She said,
here.
we'll find it.
We'll find it. And she said, well, there's a Black-owned art gallery in Durban, and I'm going to call them. Well, so happened they were taking down a show.
So that was perfect.
And he said, well, let me see your work. We went over. He says, I'm very happy. We're going to hang it. We thought we were going to have to hang the show. We just unwrapped the stuff. They hung that show. And oh, my goodness, it was fabulous.
Wow.
So it was just like, oh, gosh, it just kind of like, I thought the ancestors were saying, you're going to have a show here in South Africa.
That's right.
It was the first time they had people from the United States have a show there, and it was the first time we had a show in South Africa.
It was like being home.
It was.
And they were saying, you came home and we're going to hang your work.
We're hanging your work. And we had another South African artist with us, but I can't pronounce her name, unfortunately.
No, real bad.
Yeah, she
Don't
was
feel bad.
incredible.
Incredible,
Yeah.
with her beadwork and her baskets and things like that.
Oh, wow.
It's fantastic.
What was, and I know this is coming shortly, the video on Rebirth. What was that like for you?
Wow.
Well, it was pretty amazing because it was such a beautiful space.
Okay.
Outside, it was surrounded with beautiful trees, and they had this large gazebo for outdoor gatherings, and they had, well, our gallery was only on one floor, but
I bet it was huge.
it was 2 floors, 2 tiers, and it was just a lovely space to be there. It was beautiful, just beautiful.
And
the facility was just,
yeah.
was
And they
amazing.
were so warm and welcoming to us, and that's something you will never forget. And meeting the young artists, well, all the artists who were so talented and just so welcoming, and it was just so spontaneous. That was like.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very spontaneous about the way that was going to happen, because we didn't know where we were going to exhibit this work. And our friend said, you're going to have a show somewhere.
Oh, see?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. So.
That is I'm waiting for everyone to see the video, because I found it to be like, I watched it like maybe 2 or 3 times. Because I kept saying, my God, this is so beautiful. Like how, it makes you wonder, what it's like basically going home and being from our culture, which is not really our culture, it's their culture because we are their culture, and just going there and exhibiting your work, in your home, as far as I'm concerned, that is most, I liked that. Thought it was beautiful.
And we also met people that were living there from the United States. One
Really?
woman from South Carolina, and another was on a scholarship. And I think she had a Fulbright, scholarship, and she was working in South Africa. So we met some people that were living there from the United States, or there on a fellowship or things like that. Yeah.
we even met one person who was an artist who visited Boston maybe 20 years ago. So they knew the same people we knew.
Right.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He had met Dana Chandler,
Oh, you know how long that's been.
Mr. Cried, and Milton Dare, all of the older artists.
Woozy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he went through his diary and
He wrote
everything down.
Everything down. We're like, we know that person, and he showed
we know
us
that one.
pictures.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was like that type of situation.
Yeah.
we kept running into things like that, where people knew somebody that knew us, or how we were all connected together. Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue to connect after we have our short break.
Okay.
From tales so brave, tales so sad. Some are so funny, so crazy, unbelievable. Hi, hi, oh. They come from homes of men.
Hello, my name is Susan Thompson, and I'm so honored to be one of the artists at the Rebirth Gallery. This has been an amazing experience.
Hi, my name is Luhlengiwe Dube from South Africa. I'm so honored to be the part of this exhibition, which was organized by Amagcina Masiko, and exhibition with the foreign artists. And I'm so honored. And my work is more especially on the Zulu love letters.
Hello, my name is Johnetts Tinker. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and it's been such an honor to be here today. Susan and I have exhibited together, but we have not exhibited with you. And so just to be here, the first time we have an exhibition in South Africa, and it's just been amazing. I have no other words but say amazing. It's October 21st, and it's been a whole time, like a century of beautiful people that we've all met. They talked about their ancestors and what river they drank from. We didn't drink from a river, we drank from a reservoir. So it's been so connective and so wonderful for us to be here.
This is how AI optimizes my schedule.
That was absolutely amazing. The artwork, the fact that you were able to communicate with everyone, and the artists that were there, and to just see, I saw some of your works. I knew some of it was both of you all's work, but that musician, he was amazing. He was so fabulous. You could feel the humanness and the connection from his song and his voice when he was
that was actually,
singing.
woefully, that was our friend.
Oh, that was him?
That was her.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a storyteller.
Oh, the young...
She's a performer.
Performer, storyteller.
What? Where is she from? Is she
From Durban. That's who
She's from Durban?
That's who invited us to come to the storytelling.
The reason
festival.
I ask is her headdress
reminded
me or reminds me of another woman who's right here in Boston. I don't remember how to say her name. I know it's D-I-Z something D. I can't remember. But she has a headdress just like that.
That's traditional Zulu.
Then that's where, because she is from South Africa.
Yes, she's probably a Zulu.
Okay, that's traditional. Didn't know, and that's why I mentioned it.
I think you bought a headdress like that, didn't you, buy one or something similar to that?
No, I couldn't fit it in the suitcase.
She tried.
Did you hear? Miss Susan said she couldn't fit it in the suitcase. And this woman is a storyteller too.
Okay.
And there was a program that was done in February called Belonging. Castles of Our Skins, I don't know if you know them, Ashley Gordon and Anthony Green. They're the founders of Castles of Our Skins. They did an immersive program at Hibernian Hall. It was called, It was called Belonging. And I can't say her name. This young woman, she is a storyteller, and she did a story on belonging. And the headdress, that's what got me, the headdress. And seeing your friend, I said, oh, okay, then they must be related in the same clan or, or village, or so that's why I asked.
Yeah, that's
That
that's
question.
the traditional headdress of Zulu.
Zulu,
women.
okay.
Yeah, and they speak Akasa. You have to do
Really?
that click.
Oh, so that's what that is.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
yeah.
I've heard that before.
And that's why we couldn't pronounce anyone's name because it was like
Didn't work that way. Huh?
couldn't really get that click in there the way we should have. We tried.
Of course you
Well,
did.
if we were there long enough, I
I
think
think
we would get
You'd
the
have
hang
gotten
of
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to do again? In other words, when I say again, do you want to go back? Do you intend to go back? Do you want to bring some of them here?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah, both. Both. We would love to do a exchange with the
Oh, that would be an absolute
artist
beautiful.
in the Rebirth Art Gallery because it's kind of like a MOP. It's a
It's
Oh,
an artist
it
collective.
could have-
yeah,
They have artist studios where artists do their work.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and we need to know about each other.
Yes. I was going to say that. Yep.
Yes.
You do.
And
We
how
do.
and how we're so
connected.
connected, but and how the work is so connected too.
Yes.
And you could see yourself in their work, and they saw themselves
Those
in
in your
ours
work.
too. And so, and it's so interesting how even though we're so far apart, we're so together,
Together.
and through the art we're together too. And
Yes.
and you could see that when they talk, when we're talking about the work that we're doing, what we're using as far as materials
Oh,
and
okay.
things like that. It was very interesting how that all came together.
Okay. Wow. I'd love to see. That's something I would love to see happen.
So
Them coming
we're
in.
hoping that we could work on that.
Well,
and
Yes.
That's something that,
We
sit
just-
down, get together,
Yeah.
write a grant,
Yeah.
all that kind of good
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, yes. Write a grant. That's what you got to do.
And of course, we would love to get some of the artists from Boston to go
there.
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
beautiful. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
There was one little question I wanted to ask. Where did you all stay while you were there in Durham? I mean, did you just stay in a hotel? Did you just stay in someone's home?
We stayed at a boutique hotel.
Janetta, what did you?
A boutique hotel.
Yeah.
She said a boutique hotel.
That's what they called it.
That was the
really?
name of it.
Yeah.
A boutique hotel.
Boutique hotel, the
Oh
Turk.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Turk. Because the other, storytellers were staying there too. So they were staying
So
in
you
two
had the-
different places, and we were in one hotel, and a group was in another. And they would come around with a van and pick us up and take us to where we needed to go. So, yeah.
Oh, that was good.
And then we went, after we finished going to Durban, we went to Johannesburg.
Did you have an exhibit in Johannesburg?
No, we just
No.
went.
You just went.
Susan said she wanted to go to Johannesburg. She said, I want to go to Joburg, so we made it.
She said, I want to go to Joburg. How was that?
Oh, fascinating.
Tell me how.
Because we were lucky that our friend Lena Mofley set us up with a driver who picked us up from the airport, got us settled where we needed to be, and came and picked us up every day and took us where she said that we should go. So we went
Which
to
were a lot of all the cultural sites.
yeah, the
museums.
Apartheid Museum.
Museum of Humankind.
what is the Museum of Humankind?
Oh, that was so interesting. Oh my God. Oh my
It was
goodness.
wonderful. They told, human life, they say, started in South Africa.
That's right.
So this tells the story of how humans evolved.
Evolved.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, in the Apartheid Museum, they connected apartheid with, Jim Crow South and what happened.
Yes.
And that was interesting how they connected
that
that
connection.
together. Yeah.
Whoa.
And we saw the
Oh, my
connection in the
goodness.
museum. And then we went to different galleries, we saw Mandela's house. We saw Winnie Mandela's house. We saw the farm in which Mandela was arrested.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Yeah, we went to all those different
And
places.
Bishop Tutu's house.
House, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh, Did you see Bishop Tutu?
No, he's not alive anymore.
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Hey, I keep forgetting. There are too many people that are passing these days.
Yeah.
So I forget the ones that have already gone.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say as long as you mention their names, they're still
always
alive.
here. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
That's true. I
So
mentioned
yeah,
that.
Johannesburg was, I mean, a fabulous, fabulous place to visit. And,
Oh, wow.
we went to Soweto and we saw,
Soweto.
where, you know, I forgot the name of the student that was shot, the first one that, so we
Oh.
walked
Yeah,
along the
that
path.
kind of kick-started the revolution.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
In the memorial park that they have for the student, and it was just fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Wow. That, you know, you go to places and you come back, but you as artists, you know, have had that chance to exhibit your work, go there, see, I call them family, because that's
It is
what they
family.
are. You know, that's
Yeah,
what they-
because it wasn't just a trip. We
No,
were
it
with
was a
this
trip.
group of people for a week or so, and Professor Moffley, and we were in and out her house
All the time. You know, her daughter calls me auntie. Her nieces call me auntie.
See,
And
there
it's-
you go.
Auntie Johnetta, auntie this, because like I said, it was my third time visiting. So,
Oh, so
you know,
they knew you.
and the connection has always been with
Yeah.
me sending gifts back and forth or whatever we do, you know. And then Susan adopted one of the kids as her grandchild.
There you go. I like that.
Oh, she just loved that. She
got a
really loved the
grandchild.
fact
See,
that,
I
you know,
like
Susan adopted a grandchild for a week. So yeah, so it's even a deeper connection than that. You know, we still stay in touch with everybody.
Yes.
And we're hoping to go back.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
To want to go back. you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
I can feel that, the connection. And, you know, knowing that you ladies have been there. Tell me, we're going to skip, now that we're not really going to skip, but we've talked about some things, but I want to talk about something. We got a little bit of time before we go into something very important, but I want to talk about what's going on with AMARP.
Well, right now we're functioning.
I know, I was there.
We're having amazing exhibits, and the
Absolutely
artists.
beautiful exhibits.
Yeah, and the artists are really working hard. We've recently honored Dana Chandler
Yep.
in an exhibit. So we're hoping to get a lot of mileage out of Dana Chandler and what he stood for. Yeah, because he meant a lot to Boston.
Oh, yes, he
he just
did.
kind of,
Yes, he did.
yeah. So we
Yeah.
want to kind of make some more things happen from this exhibit.
Okay.
Yeah, on Dana Chandler. And we hope to have a Alan Roy and Crite exhibit in 2025. We're planning for that.
Okay.
So we're
we're pushing forward.
yeah, we are.
We're pushing forward.
But you know, I think AMOP is such a hidden gem, you know, in the community.
I am so upset that more people in the community don't know about AMARP. And you're right, it is a hidden gem. And it's a gem that should not be hidden.
Exactly.
Do you remember before you guys moved up there? Remember when you were down
11 Leon.
at 40 Leon Street?
Was it 11? I think it
Nope,
was
40.
40. Okay.
Oh, I used to be in and out that place. I lived in and out that place. I used to give Dana Chandler a fit all the time. But yes, because I remember Dana. I remember when, what's his name? Shea Justice first came into AMARP at 40 Leon Street. I remember when he started there. And a few of the other, it's like, oh my gosh. But I remember all that history. But yeah, I used to live in and out that place all the time. But I'm concerned, so that's why I'm sticking a few pieces in there because I want to know where we're going and how you guys are going to continue. That's another conversation that needs to be had. And I would like that conversation to be had on my show because AMOP needs all the help it can get. And the community needs to know more so that they can be a voice besides you guys just being that one voice that's out there. They need more. We as a community need to help you all, and there needs to be a louder voice. And I would like to be part of that louder voice. And to say that, ladies, it's been wonderful. No, you're not going anywhere. I'm going to talk about my next segment. Oh boy, this is going to be a hard one. On the 21st of this month, the city of Boston, the Roxbury community, lost a legend and a profound woman, the first Black female newscaster in the city of Boston.
Yeah.
Her name was Sarah Ann Shaw. She was like a second mother to me. Yes, I'm going to try and get through this. And with me today is someone who has been as close to her, if not closer, than me. Barbara Barrow Murray, are you still with me?
I'm here.
All right, help me out here, because I'm getting a little teary-eyed. Barbara, Barbara, hi.
Yes.
I'm so glad you're here.
I enjoyed that segment so much with my dear friends Johnetts Tinker and Susan Thompson. Hello, ladies.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
How are you both? Your work is beautiful. I enjoyed the fact that you had this wonderful trip, which means that our future is secure. So, Elaine, don't get upset about losing Sarah. We have so many other people that are here to fill that slot. We'll be fine. We'll just know we'll be fine.
Thank you. You've had a history, a longer history than I've had with Aunt Sarah. Please tell me how you ladies first met.
I have no idea how we first met. We've known our relationship goes back 60 years.
Oh.
I don't remember how we first met. I just know that we both were connected first through Elma Lewis.
Yes.
Elma Lewis was our mentor, an icon to the community as well as us, of course. And she taught us both dance. And Ms. Lewis only taught Russian classical ballet.
Right.
And that's what we learned. Sarah Ann was a few years ahead of me. We're about 14 years apart, but she learned the same thing I learned. And if you were in class with Elma Lewis at any point in her life, you didn't forget that experience.
No, you didn't.
So Sarah and I would often talk about that experience. And though we were 14 years apart, and that meant to Elma Lewis several classes apart, we learned the same work, and we just enjoyed having that relationship. So that was probably one of our first connections that we had, was Elma Lewis.
Lewis, what was your professional connection? Because I know you have one.
Well, yeah, the professional connection is one that's known. Sarah Ann came to Channel 2, WGBH,
Yes.
as a reporter for Say Brother. Say Brother started in '68, and Sarah Ann was right there. In fact, Sarah Ann worked on Say Brother for a year before WBZ came and took her away. They offered her the job, and Sarah Ann really had to dig deep as to whether or not she wanted to
Take that job.
leave the community. She saw it as leaving the community. and then going for the general audience. And she decided that after much encouragement that she could have a broader sweep, a broader swath if she left, say, Brother, which was targeted programming by for about Black people, and went to the larger audience and was able to deal with everybody, even though people of color were always first and foremost
in her heart.
Art,
Yeah.
right? But she was encouraged to go to WBZ, and she went there and became the first reporter of color, the first Black reporter at Channel 4 at WBZ at that time. And so the first connection we had in broadcast is that she was there in 68, I came in 72, okay? Then after that, we had a big celebration. I mean, there was much life that happened in between then and now. But we had a celebration of Say Brothers' 15th year, and Sarah Ann was part of that because we were celebrating the whole 15 years of Say Brother. And then we had an opportunity to work together at Channel 4, because when I left Channel 2 after 15 years, Channel 4 asked me to come over there and function as a show doctor. Show doctor is somebody that goes and works on a show to help bring the ratings up.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's what I did. I helped bring the ratings up, you know, and unlike PBS, commercial programming, commercial broadcast is based on commercials. And you have to keep a certain amount of commercials in there in order to justify your existence. And so they asked me to come there and work with them. Tanya Hart, in fact, had asked me to come over. And I went over there and worked on Coming Together. And we did that for about a couple of years. And they got their ratings up, they got their commercials back, and they had a great experience. And Sarah Ann and I would see each other. We didn't work together, but we would see each other daily throughout the building. You know, often we see each other in the lunchroom. Then sometimes we would meet on the stairs and talk about what was going on. So that's how our relationship connected again at WBZ.
And then you were at BNN for a long time. Was Sarah Ann Shaw at BNN when you came here?
Yes. Sarah Ann, I was doing the math this morning. Sarah Ann was there. I said Sarah Ann was there for over 20 years. Okay. I was there for 19. Mm-hmm. So she was on the board of directors trying to help encourage BNN to be more involved with the community. At large. Not only our community, but all the communities in Boston.
In Boston, yes.
You know, so he was there doing her job as a board of director. And I came on as the education director at BNN in 2001. And then the community wanted me to work with the CTV department, community TV, to try to help the community become more involved with that department. And so I did that. They switched me from education to work as a studio manager. And I was able to bring on more students. I think I taught 1,200 people.
Yes, you did.
In the time I was there, television production. So, and then we would often meet after her board meetings. And so we kept the relationship that way too. And then there was a personal connection. I mean, we knew each other, right. But then her boyfriend, and my husband worked together for the city of Boston. And so they were close friends. And so those guys always wanted to get together anyway. And the fact that Sarah Ann and I knew each other, that just made double dating real easy.
Yes, it did.
And it was fun. And the guys always talked about fishing. And Sarah and I were always talking about the community. We didn't have too much investment in fishing.
Of course not.
We weren't too interested in that. We sort of stayed in our respective lanes. And we talked about the community and often talked about, I would tell her what was going on at BNN from a staff perspective, and she would often take that information and go back to the board and strengthen the board and what was going on there based on our private conversations.
How wonderful. I'm going to ask you this question. If you had one word to say that would be what your connection with us, Sarah Ann Shaw, was in a personal way, what would that word be? In other words, what would the word be that you would, I won't say use, but
Describe our relationship?
Yes, describe it.
I don't know that I can do it in one word, but I think that as you'll find if you read the memories in the Davis Funeral Home, everyone says, and I feel the same way, that Sarah Ann was a blessing to your relationship. She was caring, she was loving, she was an educator, she was a mentor.
Yes.
I told you she was a few years ahead of me, and
that's why she was your mentor.
Worked with me regularly. She wasn't intending to, but she became my mentor just by being there, and she just constantly was there to answer any questions. Of course, I had a lot of questions about BNN and what she knew, and she would tell me what she knew and try to be as helpful as possible. And I just enjoyed her relationship. She was a very kind and loving person. She was a great mom. I enjoyed watching her as a mom with Claire. I'm gonna miss her deeply.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
We all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad for being with me today and with all of us, my guests, and all my guests, because connection is important. Thank you, B. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
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 Don't go away. And thank you, everyone, for being with me today in Artists of Color. I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host. My guests have been Johnetts Tinker and Susan Thompson, both amazing artists. And it's been a great afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a great, great afternoon.
Well, thank you.
I thank you for joining me today. Come back and visit us on the 26th of April. Artists of Color will be back, and I will have another special guest. Thank you, and have an amazing afternoon.